It's fun. It's wild. It's Dad's Gone Crypto.
Welcome everybody to Dad's Gone Crypto, and today we have a saucy show, and it feels like the markets are going absolutely crazy, but not in a positive way. It feels like it's doom and gloom, Armageddon in the crypto. We're going to be tackling why Ledger have done what they have done. Are there a bunch of idiots? Or is there some genius to their madness? I don't know. Maybe you guys can decide. And then, of course, we got the suing of Binance and Coinbase. Yeah, it's crazy out there. Ryan, how's your week been?
Week's been okay until I got a letter. I got an email from Binance US that was a lot of fun. so that one here. In fact, let me just take a.
We no longer love you.
Yeah, exactly. Let me bring up my email here.
Please remove your gluteus maximus from my exchange.
Right. Well, they're not exactly kicking us off the exchange, but listen to this. This is Binance US, dear valued customer. As you may be aware, Binance US, alongside other companies in our industry, has become the target of aggressive tactics by the United States Securities and Exchange Commission. The SEC has brought unjustified civil claims against our business, from which we will continue to vigorously defend ourselves, our customers, our partners, and our industry. However, irrespective of the baseless claims, and in light of the Commission's increasingly aggressive tactics, our payment and banking partners have signaled their intent to pause USD fiat channels as early as June 13th, 2023. That's next Tuesday. So, meaning our ability to accept USD fiat deposits and process USD fiat withdrawals will be impacted. As part of our customer first commitment, we're notifying users promptly so that you can take necessary actions as we transition to a crypto only exchange. So a crypto only exchange. So all of us that have been using Binance US as an on and off ramp are pretty much screwed at this point with that. They go on to say, to be clear, we maintain a one-to-one reserves for all of our customer assets, so funds are always safe, secure, and available. Please note the following changes that will impact the platform. And here's the really big stuff. We encourage customers to withdraw their USD via bank transfer, ACH, by June 13th, 2023. Due to elevated volumes and weekend bank closures, ACH withdrawals may take longer than usual to process, up to several days. So basically they're saying, get it off the platform. However, it may take till past this deadline. Now, USD deposits. To ensure timely USD withdrawal process, we are suspending USD deposits and recurring orders today. So basically, they're no longer allowing us to deposit crypto through their exchange, and they're going to stop withdrawals next week. That's lots of fun. Also, beginning next week, we will start delisting USD pairs. So Bitcoin, USD, basically everything else. And they're also, it doesn't say this here, but they're also delisting a ton of crypto tokens that we were able to exchange on Binance US. We'll get to that later when we talk a little bit about these lawsuits and whatnot that's going on. But yeah, not a great week if you happen to be one of us that was relying on Binance US to on and off ramp our currency.
It just seems like the SEC, Gary Gensler, is trying to just stop crypto. He's trying his heart out to pause it, to break it, to protect his employers, because remember, he's got a motive, sure, but he's got guys pulling the strings. Who are the puppeteers, right? So that's where people should be really focusing. Are they trying to protect the old established financial institutions? Possibly. And yeah, it just seems like they're getting hammered. But if they don't get their shit in order, the US, unfortunately, are just going to be stifled with innovation, and the rest of the world's adoption is going to be far better. And they're going to be left, Americans, in the dirt.
Absolutely. I mean, I don't even think Gary Gensler, as far as I know, he appeared to be pro crypto up until up until maybe the last 6 months or so.
Speculation that he asked Binance for a job.
Yeah, right. I mean, he taught classes at MIT on crypto, blockchain technology. I mean, the guy was always seemed to be pro crypto, but I think his overlords have decided that crypto in the U.S.
100%.
isn't a good thing anymore.
Overlords.
Yeah, exactly. We definitely are being led right now by Sith Lords, as far as I'm concerned. If you're a Star Wars fan.
And do yourself a favor, Google Gary Gensler's MIT speech. It is like night and day. Then you start to realize he has overlords.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so coming back to Ledger, and we'll get on to Binance and Coinbase soon. Lots to talk about. Ledger are in incredibly hot water. The market has spoken, or the crypto market has spoken, because they did apparently a little dirty. That's open to discussion. Ryan, tell me exactly what they did.
Well, so apparently Ledger has introduced new firmware into their devices that is allowing you to recover your seed phrase. If you don't know what the seed phrase is, well, you probably wouldn't be listening to this anyway if you didn't know. But a seed phrase in crypto is basically, it's a sequence of random words that allows you to access your crypto holdings on the blockchain. And normally, that is something that you're going to keep completely secure offline. Anytime you're working with a seed phrase, I was just helping a friend set up a wallet, and he took a picture of his seed phrase, and I was like, "No, you can't take a picture of your seed phrase." I'm like, what? That's gonna auto upload to your Google Photos. I'm like, any hacker in the world can just grab that.
Apple Drive.
Now your wallet's empty. And he's like, "Well, no. What do you mean? Who's gonna get into my?" Who's going to see that picture? I'm like, don't. I was like, write it down. So, had him immediately delete that, write down his seed phrase. Oh, boy. But anyway.
It's basically the keys to the safe, the literal
exactly.
Keys.
It's the keys to the safe. Don't let anybody else ever see it, right? So what Ledger is apparently doing is that they have now put in this new software that allows you to recover your seed phrase. And again, the whole idea of a seed phrase is that you should never be able to recover it online, because if you can do so, then it could be hacked, right? So, people, usually you would keep it on paper, or they even sell devices where you can store it, on little metal cylinders and that kind of thing. You can write out your seed phrase and store it forever. That's, in my opinion, that's the way you should go. What Ledger's doing is they've set up this new service where they basically shard, if you opt in, but you can opt into this service called Recover, that basically they'll shard your seed phrase into 3 different groupings, basically, and store those on 3 different servers. And if you ever lose your keys and can't get into your crypto, with your, basically with your KYC ID that they want you to do, if you jump into that, you'll be able to recover your crypto. Now, there's pluses and minuses to that, I would think. It's all minus as far as crypto is concerned, as far as, your actual, people that are into crypto. I think what they're kind of going for there is that they're trying to appeal to the new people in crypto, people that are coming into crypto and don't understand how important it is to keep your seed phrase, offline and to keep your seed phrase. It gives people a way to recover their assets, more like the standard banking industry. If you lose your account number, you can just go to the bank with your ID and, you can access all your funds, right? It's the same kind of thing that they're doing there. But again, as far as true crypto is concerned, I think it's an absolutely terrible idea to do something like that. So
you build trust the company has built trust, right? It has over 700 employees, 8 locations in Europe and in Singapore. It's sold over 6 million devices. Crypto trusts Ledger, right? Because they feel that it's a way to store my assets anonymously, right? So it doesn't actually have to say this is Crypto Sean Ryan, Crypto Ryan, Crypto Sean, Ryan, Crypto Dad Ryan, Crypto Dad Sean. It's a way of of securing. So that's what the whole thing about the blockchain is, to have anonymity, right? So now they're adding firmware to the hardware wallet, which you have to opt in, and then it can actually extract it, shard it. What happens if there's a backdoor? Remember, it's proprietary software, right? So it's not open source. Open source, people look through the code and they say, haha, there's a backdoor. And then all hell breaks loose because there's transparency. The fact that there's no transparency means what are they hiding inside there? So think about this. I stand corrected, but inside their documentation, that if you are subpoenaed by the SEC or the government, right, they can access your file and hand over your crypto, all right, which is absolute BS, right? So that's why guys have been taking hammers to their ledgers, they've been burning it, they've been flaming it, because the true crypto guy said, like, what the F, right? That's why there's so much. So they've got an absolute PR nightmare. We try to get the CTO on our show and just to come explain to us exactly what's happening, all right? You know, in a crisis like this, they should be on every single channel, every single show, explaining why this can benefit, you know, the new crypto person coming in. But for the old guys in the industry, it's an absolute no-go, and there's carnage. There's absolute carnage in the markets. Blood on the wall. What's it? Blood on the walls, as they say.
Yeah, something like that, right? Blood in the water, sharks are circling.
Blood in the waters, red paint on the walls. One of those analogies.
Yeah, but I mean, honestly, I honestly understand if they're trying to claim that it's to help new people, but at the end of the day, it's not. It's not helping new people. All it's doing is hurting them, because they're coming into crypto all with this idea that it's like the regular banking industry, right? And it's not. Crypto is made to be 100%, different. It's supposed to be the 180 from the regular banking industry. So yeah, in my opinion, I think it's an absolutely terrible idea.
And when you dig a little deeper, Ryan, you start to realize that Ledger, I have been working closer with the organization called, I think it's Mika, and they basically setting up the crypto framework in Europe, the legal framework to make sure everything kind of synchronizes together. Now the speculation comes in, because they've been working so closely, and of course government wants to know who you are, where's your money, what is happening to it. They want to have this power over you. Perhaps they snuck it in, or perhaps they did a deal, or perhaps they were threatened with legal lawsuit to shut down their business or their operations or stifle their growth. So they kind of did perhaps a deal with them. All speculative, but now you start to realize, well, if I'm working closely with the people I'm trying to, get away from, the old institution, banking and finance, could have this led to that innovative open door policy for Ledger to perhaps get hacked, and perhaps and what happens? And here's another thing, Ryan. What happens if, let's say, hackers gain access? Now, if you remember a little while ago, Ledger had a massive data hack, right, where the customer's information was released. Okay, so now you got KYC. All you have to do is KYC. So what happens if a hacker very cleverly gets your details and KYCs, and now all of a sudden gets your seed phrases and the doors to the kingdom? It's like, it's just super dodge.
I agree. I think there are definitely some some darker forces at work there, as we were saying before. So I'd personally just stay away from it.
And it's also very weird that you have to update your firmware in order to. So if you're updating your firmware, what else are they putting in there, all right, that you don't know about? So so Ledger's in hot water, and some tips, Ryan, perhaps you can do to. You've got a ledger. We all got ledgers, and that's why we're also passionate and upset about it. Am I going to throw mine away? Well, it cost me a bit, so maybe not. But what are some of the steps we can take with your current ledgers just to protect yourself from this new firmware and opt-in service?
I mean, probably the best thing, just don't upgrade to the newest firmware, right? Don't upgrade to 2.2.1, because I believe that's the firmware that has this recover as an option. So if you don't upgrade to that, I assume you probably are not vulnerable to that. But again, I don't know 100% for sure, but that seems to be what everybody's saying. So I'm definitely not going to upgrade mine to 2.2.1. So I would probably give that as a bit of advice. The other thing is that Ledger Recover, even if you do upgrade or you have a newer, if you got the new device that actually has, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that firmware is coming standard on the brand new devices that are coming out. If that is the case, I would definitely not opt into Ledger Recover. Ledger Recover is that software that's going to make you KYC and basically store your keys. So definitely would not advise using that service. And then, basically the number one rule in crypto is, not your keys, not your crypto. Don't ever give your keys to anyone. and basically if you
for me, Ryan.
Yeah, right.
I'll look after it.
Don't ever give your keys.
No, beach house, penthouse, yacht.
But so I would just say, use that rule here. That rule goes right back up to don't opt into Recover, because if you do, you're giving your keys to them, right? Then the other, maybe look at alternatives. Trezor, Trezor had, I don't think Trezor's had any of these kind of data breaches or anything. Trezor's been a very stable wallet for a long time. There's others out there, but that's my opinion. Go, maybe if you're buying new stuff, go with one of the others that aren't succumbing to governmental pressures here. Sure. at least aren't appearing to.
Yeah. And also perhaps don't put all your crypto in one wallet, right, or one brand. Perhaps spread it. If you've got $1 million in one wallet, that's super high risk. If anything goes wrong, you're in trouble. So diversify. Separate it into 4 wallets. And store it, and obviously the interaction with your wallet, you got to go full security, use a different laptop, extra VPN, all those type of things to protect. So when you do use it, it's very hard for hackers to identify or keylog you or something like that. If you're using your daily laptop, your work laptop for downloading stuff, uploading stuff, installing stuff, that's probably not the laptop you want to be using to play around with your crypto. It's convenient, it's easy, it's here. But if you're talking about big numbers, all right, have a dedicated computer for that, so that that it's clean. It's only got 1 or 2 things basically put on it. So it's finding a good solution to obviously protecting. For instance, if you had gold, you still in South Africa, you got gold. Hey. All right, you got to make sure you're digging big holes in your garden. So, safe garden, metal detectors, all of that, and with a map on the wall. You got to protect your assets, right? So it's very, very important you find a good strategy.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you had just mentioned, air gapping a laptop or something with a hot wallet even. You can have a hot wallet like MetaMask on there, but if it's never online, you're not really susceptible to too much there. So, that's a valid argument as well.
Yeah. And yes, it might seem daunting, guys, but remember, it's all a journey. Starting with a new wallet, you have to learn how to use it. Find a friend that knows about it. Just don't go online and ask, "Hey guys, I got a Trezor wallet. Can anybody help me?"
Can you help me?
That's a no-go. Yeah. Sure. Send me your seed phrase.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah. All right, so enough about Ledger. It's making me feel ill.
The next topic's really going to make you feel ill then.
Yeah. Thank goodness I've got my beer ready. It's a beautiful Friday. So
it's early here. Right. I'm having coffee.
Oh, coffee, yeah. We've all got problems there. All right, so Binance and Coinbase. When the news broke, Binance being sued, everybody's like, one of the biggest exchanges, if not the biggest exchange in the world, is now being sued by the SEC. Now, we all know what happens when exchanges go under pressure. FTX, okay, there was fraud and stuff. But, when exchanges start to get pressured by governmental organizations, it can only lead to one thing, not being able to get your crypto off, not being able to get fiat on. and it causes panic in the market, right? And if you've been around the block a few times, you know that, well, we can leave it, or by now, when there's any bit of news, you try pull just to make sure that you're safe, and then eventually put it back on. So Binance broke first, and what happened to the dollar, Ryan? Did it plummet? Did it crash? Did it burn?
The dollar?
Not the dollar, sorry, the dollar.
The dollar actually is losing value today, so hey, that's a good thing.
Oh, yeah. I meant Bitcoin, sorry,
but,
man.
Yeah.
Got dollar Bitcoin on the brain. What happened to Bitcoin?
Well, so, all right, Bitcoin didn't do much, which is absolutely fantastic if you think about it. So Binance gets hit with this lawsuit, right? If we're middle of a bear market, or if Bitcoin isn't so strong, like as soon as I saw that lawsuit pop up, I was like, oh, here we go, we're going to crash, right? And Bitcoin crashed a bit, right? It went from 27 to 25 something. It was kind of like a flash crash, but again, that's not very much. It was like a 10% crash at the most. And then it bounced right back up. So that right there tells me that Bitcoin's pretty strong right now. I mean, I know there's a lot of doom and gloom in the market, a lot of people talking doom and gloom because of these lawsuits and all this other kind of stuff. But to me, that just proves the strength of Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin, went down a little bit, immediately bounced right back up. And now we're kind of settling in. I think last time I looked, it's around 26.5, something like that. So, it's basically just settling right back into its pattern. And that's after Binance and Coinbase. So the biggest U.S. exchange and the biggest worldwide exchange both get sued by the SEC, and basically Bitcoin holders just say, "Well, fuck you, we're holding, we don't care." And that's the beauty of it. That's what Bitcoin is for. Bitcoin has always been the big fuck you to the government. That's why I love Bitcoin, because fuck you, government.
Michael Saylor's chuckling all the way. Exactly. Well, you got to smile, Michael. Wow. Where do I start?
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, if nothing else, it just proves the strength of Bitcoin. So screw you, SEC. But yeah,
they've been
they are serious charges that they're leveling, and it's just a bunch of crap, in my opinion. The SEC claims they do this to protect consumers, but at the end of the day, that's not why they're doing this. They're doing this to protect big banking. This has nothing to do with consumer protection.
They've got a hidden agenda, and throughout history, there's always an agenda: protect the fat cats that rule the world, right? And he's just a puppet in the bigger scheme of things. So, yes, we're gunning him, which is fine. The big fat cats don't mind, because the fight or the rampage is not against them, it's against him, right? If you go onto crypto, there's not a page that goes past with some meme about Gary, which is hilarious, but they should actually be going after his bosses, right? And their drive, or their agenda, that's the word, the agenda behind the thing, and start coming after them, because if you put pressure on those guys, then generally the SEC should back off. But there's also speculation he won't make the end of the year, so that's also something interesting. He's coming up against some also powerful people as well.
Right. Well, I mean,
so tell me, Ryan.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Sean.
Sorry, man. So tell me, you've got the SEC paper in front of you, right? The actual filings. So what exactly is Binance being sued for? We won't go into, obviously the finer detail, but just let's try and understand what are some of the charges. So,
let me just look at so this is like right off of the SEC's website. This is their press release. And if you actually delve into this a little bit, it's really scary. I mean, these guys are suing Binance, Binance isn't a U.S. company. Binance has never been a U.S. company, and they're going after them, right? So it just shows the arrogance of the SEC, if you ask me. But so basically, here's their press release. The Securities and Exchange Commission today charged Binance Holdings Ltd., which operates the largest crypto asset trading platform in the world, Binance.com, U.S.-based affiliate BAM Trading Services, Inc., which together with Binance operates the crypto asset trading platform Binance US, and their founder, Zhengbing Zhao, with a variety of securities law violations. Among other things, the SEC alleges that while Zhao and Binance publicly claimed that U.S. customers were restricted from transacting on Binance.com, Zhao and Binance in reality subverted their own controls to secretly allow high-value U.S. customers to continue trading on the Binance.com platform. Further, the SEC alleges that while Zhao and Binance publicly claimed that Binance US was created as a separate independent trading platform for US investors, Zhao and Binance secretly controlled the Binance US platform's operations behind the scenes. That's some pretty big accusations there. I mean, basically they're saying that Binance colluded with high dollar investors in the US and allowed them to continue trading on their site, knowing that, it was illegal in the US basically. And they're also, and also saying that they were backdoor running Binance US that was supposedly a completely separate company. So, I mean, there's a whole lot more here, but I'm not going to read this whole statement. You can go on the SEC's website and read it if you want. But I mean, the charges that they're leveling, number one, the SEC can't really file criminal charges. These are civil. So basically the most they can do, I would think, is a lawsuit that results in a fine. I don't think they can actually, I mean, they can't force Binance to shut down, but they probably could force Binance US into some sort of a closure or whatever here. But those are some pretty big charges, and I think from what I've seen CZ, talk about online, it seems like he's just telling them that, that this is absolute BS. None of these charges are true, and he wants to fight it. So that's what I hope to see happen is a major fight here, rather than just bowing down and paying some fines.
And I think with all these different types of accusations, they want you to try and freeze the US assets. Right, and I think that's because they're scared, they fear that they're going to take the money and move it across to somewhere else, so they can't get hold of that. Right, but it just doesn't make sense. Obviously, you look at the FTX. Millions and millions of dollars were held. Right, and who benefits from it? Definitely not the consumer. Right.
Right.
So I think it's a ploy to try, perhaps a money grab. Who knows? But this will be locked up for a very long time in legal battles, I'm sure.
I mean, honestly, I think part of the reason FTX is part of the reason this is all happening. It's because, the Biden's best buddy, yes. SBF, got caught and made now all the Democrats in the U.S. look like, they all have egg on their face he was their biggest freaking donor. And, and they were all best buddies with him. There's plenty of pictures of all these politicians hanging out with Sam. And then, and then he gets caught with all the crap he was doing, and it makes him look stupid. So now they're retaliating with this kind of thing, and that's kind of how it seems to me. But
and perhaps bringing up the biggest exchange, Binance, and the biggest US exchange, Coinbase, and now FTX, and they're saying, oh, well, FTX isn't really wrong because of X, Y, and Z. So not X, Y, and CZ, but X, Y, and Z. But they're trying to maybe mesh the construed message so that they can maybe get off on a lighter sentence. FTX, I don't know. Once again, speculation, but it just leaves a bad taste in your mouth. So, obviously Binance, they said being sued for operating as an exchange, failing to register as an exchange, a broker-dealer, as a clearing agent, and offering unregistered securities, and also misuse of customer funds by diverting them to a trading entity, which was used to inflate the Binance trading volume. So instead of storing it on the one side, they moved it across, and they thought that, sure, the volume is great, driving traffic to their site and price, and that's where profiteering happens, where people can make money off it. So did they do that? Well, time will tell. Conflicts of interest, basically CZ, playing a role in the US where he shouldn't have, lack of disclosure of certain documents, calculated evasion of the law, and then there's a few others. There's 13 charges in total. I think if you go onto the Elio Trades channel, he goes through all the 13 points and kind of says this one is at the very least useless, this one's not too bad. So he delves nicely into each of those trading points. We're just giving a broad-based perspective in that regard. Right. So tell me, Coinbase. Now, why is Coinbase in trouble?
Oh my God.
As if the plot thickens. Now, you thought Coinbase is one of their own. It's the US. We pro-US, meanwhile.
Yeah, it's another one. I mean, again, SEC filing charges. But once again, look at what happened. They sue Binance. 2 days later, they sue Coinbase. Bitcoin, what does Bitcoin say? F you. And I absolutely love it. Bitcoin's maintaining its status quo here at least. So, and who knows, maybe we'll even get a little jump from this now that, I mean, when you see these kind of big lawsuits come down and then you see that Bitcoin doesn't crash, well, maybe it gives you the confidence to say, oh, you know what, maybe we're gonna start climbing a little bit sooner than we all thought. So I don't know, happy for me. But again, I mean, I'm looking at the press release for Coinbase is here, and the Coinbase filing is the same kind of BS. Let's see. I'll read the first part of it here. Securities and Exchange Commission today charged Coinbase Inc. with operating its crypto asset trading platform as an unregistered national securities exchange, broker, and clearing agency. The SEC also charged Coinbase for failing to register the offer and sale of crypto asset staking as a service program, unregistered exchange, broker, and clearing agency. According to the SEC's complaint, since at least 2019, Coinbase has made billions of dollars unlawfully facilitating the buying and selling of crypto asset securities. The SEC alleges that Coinbase intertwines the traditional services of an exchange, broker, and clearing agency without having registered any of those functions with the commission as required by law. And it goes on to name all of these different things. And it's, once again, just a bunch of BS. And Brian Armstrong is being very vocal about this. I mean, he's doing interviews and he's going out there. Brian Armstrong is the CEO of Coinbase, but he's getting out there and he's trying to get in front of this. And he's talking about the fact that, they've been trying. The Coinbase has visited the SEC, had meetings with them over 30 times, trying to get clarity, just looking for rules. And now the SEC doesn't give them any rules. And now the SEC is saying, well, you broke all the rules. And they're like, well, screw you. You never gave us the rules. How did we break them? So it's just a bunch of BS again.
And it hasn't been in the course of a year. It's been in the course of years. Right. So they string them along while the secretly the SEC are building a case, right? And like they said, I think there's what is going on at the moment in America. They have that in front of the Senate where they talk about crypto and all of that, and they have all the big guys talking about it and say, listen, we're speaking to them. We're chatting to them. We're saying, are we on the right track? Give us the rules. We want to do nothing but follow the rules. Because once we know what framework you give us, we can put all our energy and effort into marketing, advertising, because we know and how to operate within those parameters of the law. Then they don't give, like you said, they don't give them any clear-cut instructions. They're very vague about things, and then now they sue them. So there's definitely agenda about creating noise and coverage about this for some other agenda. If they're trying to destroy crypto, well, Bitcoin says go fuck yourself, right? Simple as that. So if they can probably destroy an exchange, but as far as Bitcoin goes, go find Satoshi, right? And sue him. Go try. And he's just around the next corner. Right. So it just goes back to show that the crypto is here to stay, right? And what does this mean for crypto? Well, yes, it's fun, and yes, it's doom and gloom, but think about every major dip, like a pandemic or some FTX scandal and people losing millions. All right, there's a big dip, people go, oh, crypto's going to go under. You're like, no, it's a buying opportunity, right? And then a couple of months down the line, you're like, shit, I should have bought. I knew it was going to go down. I knew it was going to go back up. So it's an opportunity to say, hey, all right, if you're very, very scared of the market, go to Bitcoin. That's it, right? No one's saying put the house on it, but that's probably an opportunity for you to say, hey, if things are going to go back up, well, I'm getting in very low, all right? So, and even if it goes down another $5,000, so what, all right? Buy at a lower point, then your dollar cost averaging is better. If it goes up from here, then you win, you score, right?
Right.
But yeah, this is the perfect opportunity to start looking at your crypto.
Right, for sure. I'll tell you, even Brian Anderson, Armstrong, I'm sorry. Brian Armstrong, I've been watching different interviews with him and that. And I mean, he's out there basically saying that he's looking at this lawsuit as a good thing. So he's being sued by the SEC. and yet he's saying, hey, this is a good thing.
Yeah.
Because for years, we've had no regulation. It's been a no man's land, of any type of rules, right? So he's saying that now at least we're going to get the regulatory framework that we're looking for. So whether the judge rules for or against, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. In fact, there's a quote here from him from an interview I just watched. He says, the whole point of this case from our point of view is to get regulatory clarity. And regardless of the outcome of the case, it's a step towards that clarity. So, I mean, he's basically just saying, fine, sue us, just give us the frickin' rules so we know how to follow them next time.
Yeah. And he has to give the rules because he's suing him for a reason, because that was a rule that you broke. So therefore, that's a rule. That was what you broke. There's another rule. So if they have 10 rules, it means 10 rules they never had before, right? And people can build on top of that because they can't get sued for it if you're abiding by that rule that they're initially suing for. So it is a positive for crypto. So don't look all doom and gloom about it. See it as a positive, and it's out in the limelight. It's getting the attention and coverage. So it's a very, very good thing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Guys, so enough about doom and gloom about Ledger and people getting sued. All right. And guys, if you enjoyed our content, please don't forget to like and subscribe. We are growing nicely, but obviously we'd like you to share it with your friends and tell them to please go and click the little like button and follow. And the most important part of the show is our dad's joke. Dad's got jokes. And I think last week Ryan won it, so I have to avenge myself. I've got my beer ready. Ryan will have to start drinking early if he loses, which I've got a feeling he's going to. Been plotting. It's the cutest little thing, eh? My son, my son's he comes home, he's 8 years old, just had his 8th birthday, and he's like telling me all these jokes that he's learned from school. He said, this is not part of my jokes, but I have to say it. Oh shit! Now you see. Now I'm getting
forgotten
old.
Your son's joke already.
He says, "Daddy, please say it. I'll promise you I'll go like it." Crap! All right, never mind about that. Let's go into my joke. Sorry, son. I love you.
You'll have to do it next time for him.
Next week. Yeah. A zone face. Vitamin B6 and 12 vitamins for next week, so I can get some memory. All right. So how the dad joke works, we're going to tell a joke. The objective is not to smile, but if it's super funny, then you smile, then you drink. All right, and the other person wins. All right, so Ryan, you actually going to go first this time. I was first last time. I need to get my composure going. Yeah.
All right, are you ready? You got your mean face on there? All right. So this one's perfect for you, by the way, over there in South Africa, because, why should you never play poker in the African savannah? Because there's too many cheetahs.
I am stealing that. I like it a lot. Okay, here we go.
All right.
What did the baby popcorn say to the mama popcorn? Where's popcorn?
Oh boy.
I'm drinking for my own joke. I think my son's joke was better.
Oh
sure.
Boy. Well, it's been fun.
All right, guys, and that concludes our show for today. Don't forget to join our Telegram chat at Dad's Gone Crypto, as well as our Twitter at Dad's Gone Crypto. Come say how's it, come join us, come chat to us, and have an awesome weekend and a week ahead, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys.
Ciao.
The material and information presented in this recording are for entertainment purposes only. Do not misconstrue what you hear as investment or trading advice. always do your own research. The views, thoughts, and opinions expressed by the guests on this recording are their own and do not necessarily reflect those of Dad's Gone Crypto or its hosts.